guys, welcome back to Science with Sandra. I'm missing you guys. I'm wishing we were working together in the same space, but happy that we're able to do science anyway. There's lots of things we can do with science at home. Today we're going to work with some easy materials. Let's see what we have. We'll get it together, and we're going to talk more about liquids. Do you remember the 3 states of matter? We talked about solids, liquids, and gases. Today we're going to talk a little more about liquids. Liquids are really interesting. Who remembers something about a liquid? Liquids flow. Liquids don't hold their shape on their own. Liquids need a container to give them their shape. When you pour a liquid, it takes on the shape of the cup that you pour it into, or the jar that you pour it into. I'm going to pour in some water into my cup. Let's take a look at that water. What can you tell me about it? You can swirl it around a little bit. You can make it change its shape by moving it. What happens when you mix liquids together, different liquids? Let's see. I'm going to put in a little bit of this red food coloring. I chose red because that's my favorite color. But you can choose whatever you like. I'm going to pour in 1 drop. What happens? It's floating down. Wow. Looks pretty as it floats down. Can you see? What happens if we stir it with a spoon? It turned my water red. It mixed together. Now we're going to look at another liquid. This is oil. You can use any kind of oil. I chose vegetable oil for my kitchen, but you could use baby oil, which is clear, or you could use any kind of oil. I'm going to pour in a little oil on top, just to see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? Ooh, it made bubbles. And then something else happened. Can you see? Where's the oil? It's sitting on top. I see a red layer and then a yellow layer. What will happen if I stir it with my spoon? It mixed together. There's lots of bubbles. The bubbles are rising to the top. What else do you notice? I wonder if I can get the oil to sink down. Let's try something with the salt. Put a little salt on your hand, or if you have a shaker, you can just use a shaker. Now I'm going to use a pinch of salt at a time. Take your fingers and sprinkle in a pinch of salt. Now watch what happens. The salt is dripping down and taking some of those oil bubbles with it. Let's put on some more and see what happens. There it goes. It's dripping down. And now the oil bubbles are floating back up. There goes a big bubble. Why do you think this is happening? Why is the water at the bottom and the oil at the top? What do we know about things that go down and things that stay up? This is fun to watch what happens. You can play around with this for a little while to see what happens. I'm going to move on to the next part of our experiment. The next thing we're going to make is a little sensory bottle. This is a fun thing to do with oil and water. You can pour in some water. You could actually use your water from your cup if you wanted to with the oil. I'm going to pour in some water into my bottle. Ask a grown-up to help you or use a funnel. I'm pouring over my tray so I don't make a mess. I'm going to put a color inside. If you choose, you can put a color inside, a couple drops. I think I'm not going to do color in this one. Kind of curious to see what it'll look like without color. I'm going to pour in some oil. We already know what's going to happen with the oil, right? And now I'm going to put in, I have some little beads. You can see what you have at home if you have some sequins or some beads. I'm going to put in a few things and watch what happens. What do you think will happen? Are they going to float? Are they going to sink? Then put your lid on tight. You can ask a grown-up to tape it to make sure that it stays on tight, because once it's closed, you don't want to open it. You can shake it up. Watch it go slowly to see what happens. You can shake it or swirl it. Watch what happens to all the things inside. Thanks for joining us with Science with Sandra today. It was great to have you with us. Don't forget to draw what you see on a piece of paper for your journal. Always send me a picture of the things that you're doing or a small video. I'd love to see what you're doing. Thank you for joining. Bye.